Hi everyone, it's Lindy. Okay, so this is a video that's a little bit different. I know that you guys have been watching my videos and you see me doing the same kind of things like, eBay or Poshmark, reselling clothing online, reselling hard goods online, that kind of thing. Well, I decided to dabble in children's consignment for making money. It was a business opportunity presented to me by Heather, who has a YouTube channel called Heather's Hauls. And I met up with her at the Kansas City bins, and she was telling me that she does children's consignment sales, and I was totally intrigued by that because I had never heard of doing it before. I had, shopped at children's consignment sales, but it never occurred to me that children's consignment sales could potentially make a lot of money for resellers. So she and I kind of talked a little bit. She kind of gave me the ins and outs, and then I did my own research, and I decided to jump in and give it a try. So right now, I'm actually all done with it. As I'm speaking to you at this present time, I am all done with it. But I did record little tidbits throughout the process, and so those clips are going to follow. And then at the very end, I will show you how much money I made, and I will give you basically my opinion of the whole situation, if I'm going to do it again, if I'm not going to do it again, mistakes that I might have made, things that maybe you could try to do. So this was all just kind of like my own experience being a beginner trying out children's consignment for making money. So, all right, here comes the clips of the entire process. Okay, everybody, I haven't really been recording like totally along the way with this whole children's consignment thing, but I wanted to start kind of showing a little bit of the process. So, okay, so I have all of these pieces of clothing. Okay, I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna, okay, so you essentially put the clothing on hangers, you have a tag, you safety pin the tag to the clothing, you stick it on a hanger. Shirts and onesies and things like that go on there. If you have pants do need to hang, and then in which case you have to pin here and pin here with your tag so that it stays on the hanger. And then for things like two pieces, you have stuff like this where you have them pinned together and you hang them on the hanger. So that's essentially what the merchandise looks like after you've got them all pinned and hanged. Now, it took me cumulative probably 4 hours to pin and hang about 200 different article pieces that are going to sell. So now the next step is I am supposed to sort them before I enter them in the database. I am supposed to sort them by gender and by size. So that's essentially what I'm doing right now. I have like six of these bins, and they are full. So now I am just pulling them out, and I'm doing girls and boys. And then after I get the gender separated, I'm going to separate them by smallest size to biggest size, and then I will start entering them all into the database. And then I'll show you what I do from there. Okay, you guys, so it's drop-off day, okay? It's drop-off day for the children's consignment sale that I have selected to be a part of. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 overflowing bins, and see, 4 bins like this. Okay, so this is all so new to me. We're winging this together, and I'm just bringing you along for the ride. Okay, and I believe I had 208 total pieces. That includes clothing items and shoe items. So what I have done so far is I have hung everything and I have tagged everything. And what happens is each tag gets a number, and then that number corresponds with the listing that you put in the database. So I have gotten everything entered into the database. So Okay, so now I have the database up. Here's, you're probably not even gonna be able to see it, but I'm gonna try. 208 total pieces. So I have everything entered into the database. So now I am going to enter it all in, and I'm supposed to print out an inventory sheet, and then it's optional, but I already have the labels. You can print out your barcodes and take them in or put them on for yourself. If I've done this before, maybe I would have printed out the barcodes and went ahead and put them on the tags, but they have to inspect the clothing before they put it out or before they accept it from you. So that means that since I've never done this before, I could just put the tags on and assume that they're gonna go through, because I'm pretty picky about what I selected, but you never know. Some things that I have could be turned away. So I'm going to submit all of these items, and I'm gonna put it back, see if you could see it. So the only things that you have to enter are just a brief description, the size, and the price. That's it. It's nothing like eBay. And it was really, really cool because there's actually a voice, this consignment sale in particular, they have an app, and you can enter in all of your items through the app, and there's a voice system. So like I could literally speak what the item was, and it would go that much faster. Like I could say, American Eagle sandals, size 1, price $11, discount yes. And what that discount is on the final day, they do 50% off of everything. If you would like to include your items in that, then you have to say discount yes or discount no. And if you say discount no, that means when they have their 50% off day, your item will still be full price. So, but then that goes really easy, and then you just enter it, and then you say, you know, Old Navy jeans, size 4T, price $5, discount yes. And so it went really, really, really fast. And so I have 208 items that I'm going to be submitting. So I am going to finalize the inventory, send it in, print off these labels, and then I am going to load up and go drop them off in Topeka. They said to allow 30 minutes to an hour to drop off, so that's what I am going to go do today. And then we'll see what happens. It all looks so exciting. Okay, so I'm not exactly seeing how to print out the barcodes. So I have the inventory list. It is 5 pages. 5 pages. I have the entire inventory list printed. I texted the main coordinator, and she said that I don't need to print the barcodes. So all I need is the stuff and this inventory list. That's all we need. So I am going to load up everything and hit the road, and I'll probably chitty chat a little bit about stuff on the road because I have an hour-long drive, and I sure hope it's worth it. It'll be worth it. It'll tell me. I spend an hour in the car all the time. That's not a big deal. So, all right, I'm going. I'm going. So, I'm about halfway to Topeka. You know, and I guess it just kind of like popped into my head. I feel like I should say something, because there's a lot of the times people will comment or they'll ask me questions, like if I save gas receipts or if I calculate mileage every single time I go to Goodwill for sourcing or go to Walmart for sourcing, stuff like that. And really, I don't worry about all of that. You know, the Goodwill that I go to every single week is a 5-minute drive from my house. I don't really worry about calculating gas or mileage for that, honestly, just because it just seems nitpicky. And I know that, you know, you could probably argue that going every week, you know, would add up over the course of a year, but I also have to kind of take into account the time it takes me to like notate it and file receipts and do all that kind of stuff, so it's not worth it. But stuff like I'm doing right now, this I do keep track of. You know, I always gas up before I leave town. If I go out of town for sourcing, I always save gas receipts. I calculate mileage for taxes and everything. So, because like right now, the only reason I'm going to Topeka is for business use. That's it. You know, it is a little after 11 now. I do have to get home at a really reasonable hour because I do have some stuff to do this afternoon. I was considering sourcing after I drop off all of this stuff at the consignment sale. It's just really going to depend on how fast the drop-off is, whether or not I'll stay in town. But the only reason I'm going to Topeka is for work. And when that's the case, the mileage gets calculated, the gasoline receipts get saved, and all of that. So, but you know, like when I'm in town, usually if I'm going to Goodwill, I'm like running errands and doing other things too. So I don't worry about hanging on to receipts for that kind of stuff. So there's that little tidbit. All right, so everything is all dropped off. It took just under 2 hours. It took me approximately, it's 1:30 now, and I got there at like 1:45 So what, an hour and 45 minutes? And I had asked him about that. I was like, man, I'm glad I gave myself enough time, because they had suggested giving yourself 30 minutes to an hour for drop off, right? Well, she kind of chuckled and she said, well, our average consignor brings between 50 and 100 items. And I had more than double that. So of course it took me longer, right? But I mean, it was fairly easy. I made sure that I had all of the numbers, all of the items in corresponding numbers, because then it was easy just to pull the barcode labels off of the sheet and just put them on the one, and it was just like in order. Had they been all mixed up and all the numbers been shuffled, it would have taken so much longer, because you would have had to been like, okay, what number is this one? Okay, it's number 67, and then flip to 67, and then what's this one? Number 152. So then you got to flip to 152. So having all the numbers consecutive really helped make it a lot faster. So, and I didn't have anything rejected. Yay! I didn't have anything rejected. They didn't tell me that everything I had was sellable. And as a matter of fact, the woman who runs the thing, she was pulling, no joke, she was pulling pieces of mine. She was like, oh, I like this, I like this. She was pulling them because she was going to photograph them and put them as part of their advertisement for the consignment sale on their Facebook page. So she was pulling the things that I brought in to take pictures of, because she's like, oh, this is adorable, this is adorable, I'm gonna use this for advertisement for the consignment sale. So that made me feel really good. It showed me that the stuff that I picked was the right kind of stuff. People were just fawning all over the stuff I brought in. She was just like glowing about the quality of the items that I brought in, you know, just saying that everything I had was clean, everything looked good. And so that was kind of validation that told me that if this does work out, then obviously this is something that I should continue, because apparently I have an eye for it, and I know what to look for, and I know the kind of quality standards that, you know, consignment sales would have. So cumulatively, it doesn't take, it's like 2 days worth of work when you put it all together, but there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of steps. So if it doesn't make at least $400, I don't know if I would do it in the future. I mean, granted, $400 for 2 full days worth of work is really, really good, but there is a lot of steps to it. There's a lot of steps. So we will just have to see how it pans out. So I'm gonna eat some lunch, and then I'm actually going to go back home because I have some stuff to do at home, but everything's dropped off. Now I just gotta wait for it all to sell. It's March 10th, and I'm going to pick up my check from the children's consignment sale and the merchandise that didn't sell. You guys ready to see what I got? Okay, so I have a check for $263. So I don't want to sound ungrateful. I don't want to, because my whole mantra is profit, right? It's my whole mantra. But okay, here's the thing. So I have $137 and change invested in this, I guess, business venture. So I invested $137 and change into acquiring the children's clothing. I had to buy all the hangers. See, everything has to be hung up. Everything had to be hung up. So I had to buy hangers, and they, you know, you can buy 10 for $1. So I had to buy hangers. I had to buy safety pins, which, you know, you can get 400 safety pins for $4. So that's not a huge deal. But I had to buy tags. Tags were, you know, $4 for 200 of them, whatever. So I had a total of 137 and change invested. And so taking that out of the 263, that is, how much profit is that? We'll just say 220, or 200, see, math, $126. $126 worth of profit. For 2 days, total worth of work. I'm gonna break all of my opinions down, but I'm gonna do it on the road because I need to start heading home. But, so, $126 worth of profit. I'm gonna give you all of my opinions as soon as I head out. Okay, so, will I do the consignment again? Yes and no. I will probably do it again in the future when I have more time. Right now, I feel like my time was too busy to take the time to tag things and enter things into a database and drop things off and put the labels on all the tags and then come back and pick everything up and pick up the check. So maybe if my days weren't so crazy busy, then that wouldn't be such a big deal. Because like I said before, it was about 2 full days worth of work when all combined together, right? So had I done it little at a time, then it might not have been so bad, but I kind of jumped through my butt to do it all at once. So now, that being said, I don't want my experience to discourage other people from wanting to try out children's consignment. Because I do know that a lot of people make money. A lot of people make really good money. And there's a couple of factors about this children's consignment sale that I did that leads me to believe that had I known certain things, I would have maybe selected a different consignment sale or taken a different route. There was a couple of things that I think led to less sales. The first one being, this was a newer consignment, children's consignment group. This was only their 3rd year in Topeka. So that's the first thing. They were newer. The second thing that was kind of a red flag to lead me to believe that maybe I wouldn't make so much money was when I had asked the coordinator about foot traffic. She couldn't really tell me. She couldn't really tell me because she said that they were so new, they had only done it for 2 years. And this was the 3rd year. So she couldn't tell me how much foot traffic there was going to be. And then when I dropped everything off, I personally didn't think that the location was that great and the advertising wasn't that great. There was just a couple of, those little garage sale signs that you see on street corners and stuff. There was just some of those out front. I mean, it was on a busy Topeka street, but it was in the basement of like a church, not a church, but like a church school. So it was at the basement of like a church school, and there wasn't a whole lot of like dominant signage. And I didn't know how much other advertising they were doing. I didn't know if it was just the Facebook group. And if it was just the Facebook group, I could tell that there wasn't a lot of traffic on their Facebook group, because when I would watch their live streams on Facebook telling consigners how to, like, step by step of how to do their stuff, when I would watch their live streams, there would only be 2, 3, 4, 5 people watching. That was it. And pictures and things like that were only getting like 5 likes. So there was not a lot of traffic on their Facebook page. I have no idea what kind of advertising they were doing. So that could mean a lot of things. Something else that I think had an effect on my low sales was there was one day of really, really bad weather. It was a day where it was really windy, really stormy, and so like half the day, whenever I would check the sales, the numbers didn't move. They like stopped at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was open until 8 o'clock that night, and my numbers didn't move again. So I'm guessing that either they shut down early or people just weren't shopping because of the horrible weather. The other thing that leads me to be about the low sales was the number of half-off items that I sold. I know that I told you guys that there was a half-off day where like everything was half off, and I opted into that. However, most of the items that I sold were sold half off before the half-off day. And when I inquired about that, turns out that volunteers and other consigners received half-off passes. And I mean, I got one, so I know. But it turns out anybody that volunteered, anybody that worked the event, anybody that consigned their own pieces, and then those people got an extra pass to give, an extra half-off pass to give to somebody else. So, starting the first day, I had people buying half off my stuff using their little special pass. So on the days where I thought I was gonna have 4 days of full price shoppers, nope. Most of my stuff went for half price, even on the first day. Is that disappointing? Yup. But had I known to ask that beforehand, I would have asked that. So I could have priced my items maybe a little bit higher to compensate for that. So going forward, the things that I would do differently, if I'm sourcing children's clothing every single week, and of course these sales are like semi-annually, so you can only do them, 2 or 3 times a year, 2 times a year, depending on if you do like different cities. Like I know Heather has like 3 going on in 1 month because she's doing different cities, different consignment sales. So if there's like if you're just gonna do like 1 consignment sale twice a year, then you're sourcing for it like a little bit every week, I would recommend pinning and tagging your items as you get them to save time. Because if you take, 15 minutes a week to pin and tag your items and just keep them in a closet or keep them in a box or something ready to go, then when it comes time to enter in all of the items for the consignment sale, everything is already pinned and tagged. So that will save you some time. Also keeping things in order by size and gender. When I had first started gathering items, I had no idea that I was going to have to get them ordered by size and gender. I thought that I was just going to be able to number them however I wanted to, but no, I had to keep them in order, because when you take them and drop them off, you need to have them in order so that they can more easily put things away. So keeping them in order by size and gender, and tagging them as you go so that you already have them tagged. That's one thing that I would do to save time in the future. The next thing that I would do is I would pick a children's consignment sale group that has been doing it for a while and maybe has a bigger following. You know, check out their Facebook page, see how many people have liked the page, see what kind of interaction there is on the page. If you talk to the director of the consignment group, you know, ask them what kind of foot traffic there is, see if they can give you exact numbers. Like, you know, I know that there was one that I went to that I was just curious about because it was really, really busy. It was in Wichita though. And I had asked, I was like, man, there's a lot of people here. And they're like, and they just offered it. They're like, yeah, we usually have about 1,000 visitors a day. Well, they know their foot traffic, right? So I would ask them if what kind of foot traffic they have, to see, okay, well, if there's, you know, if it's there for 5 days and they average, you know, 200 people a day, then that's 1,000 people, 1,000 chances to sell your stuff. That makes all the difference, because if they only get 50 people a day, chances are they're probably not going to see your stuff if there's a lot. Also asking about half-off passes, I would ask about that because I did not know about that, and I think that that dipped into my profits a lot, because most of the stuff that I had sold for 50% off before the 50% off day. So I would ask if anybody has 50% off passes, and I would try to price maybe just $1 or $2 higher to compensate for that. That is pretty much all that I would change in the future, all I would look for in the future. I really don't want to discourage people from doing this, because profit is profit. Like I said, that's my whole mantra. But, you know, $126, is that what I said? 120 something dollars for 2 days worth of work is, I mean, it's great. I got my money back. And so I'm very, very thankful for that. But I feel like I kind of had to jump through my butt a little bit. And so having jumped through my butt, I expected more than $60 a day profit. So I would, if I were to do it again in the future, I would want to try to make it so I wasn't so frantic trying to get it together. And I would do it a little bit at a time. Every time I source things, I would probably pin and tag them then. So, oh, and now the big question, what am I gonna do with all the stuff? I have 2 full bins. I have 2 full bins of clothing left. I'm thinking I'm just going to sell them locally just to get them gone. Part of me wanted to hold on to them until the next children's consignment sale, but I don't know if I want to go through this whole rigmarole again, to be quite honest, in the fall. And the problem is a lot of those things are specifically for spring, so I would have to hang on to them until the next spring consignment sale. And I don't think there's any that are soon enough to where I won't have to jump through my butt again. I'd probably have to jump through my butt again for any spring consignment sales near me. So probably going to try to sell them off locally. Maybe just sell them for like $2 a piece just to kind of recoup my time. I think I might have a garage sale here soon. Might put them up at my garage sale. So that's what I'm going to do with them. I had considered redonating them, but kind of like to make a little bit, ooh, hiccup. Kind of like to make a little money off of them. But anyways, so that's my experience with the children's consignment sale. I hope that my experience helped you. I hope that it answered some questions for you if you've ever thought about doing children's consignment. If you've been looking for another opportunity to try to make some money reselling, I hope that this maybe, you know, didn't deter you from wanting to try it too much. Because I really don't want it to, because, you know, just because it didn't work out so great for me doesn't mean it wouldn't work out great for you. You know, and plus, I told you all the little mistakes that I had made that I wish I would have known, so you can use those to your advantage and use it to benefit you with your own children's consignment. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to finish driving home and get the video edited so that I can hopefully get it up for you guys today. Anywho's, all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of video, please give me a thumbs up, let me know. And if you haven't subscribed to me yet, I hope you will. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments below. All right, you guys, I'll see you later.